guess what? You're famous.
Is that what I'm considering?
Just a year ago, you wouldn't get into a pair of jeans. In fact, you didn't even know what Guess jeans were.
I hated jeans.
Today, open any magazine and you'll see yourself. You're the new Guess jeans model, Nicole Smith. And this girl is breaking all the modeling rules. She's a voluptuous 5'11", 140 pounds that could give, well, Mae West some competition.
I love chocolate truffles. I usually eat that all day during my shoot, but they didn't have any here today.
But this 25-year-old Marilyn Monroe look-alike first came on the scene 2 years ago with a different identity. Back then, she called herself Vicki Smith.
My ex-boyfriend saw an ad in the paper for Playboy models, and he brought me the ad. Of course, I chickened out 4 times. And then the last time he made me go.
I met her and I went, that's it. I saw her with no makeup on and she was utterly beautiful.
Immediately, Vicki got a Playboy cover, followed by last May's centerfold.
When a girl has magic, you don't have to do much. And she had the magic.
I mean, I was, of course, very embarrassed and shy and was like freaking out over it, but at that point, I was already at the point to where I was gonna do this, especially because the second day I was there, I get a cover.
I thought that the Playmate would be her springboard to other things.
But instead, she found she couldn't even get a job.
Well, a lot of people read Playboy. That's all I can figure out. I was afraid to go out there and get a job where people knew who I was. And plus, to me, that was degrading. Wow, you got in Playboy, now let's go work at a hamburger place.
8 months later, her luck changed. The same company that made unknown Claudia Schiffer into a modeling sensation, Guess Jeans, signed her to a 3-year print contract and changed her name to Nicole Smith. Just like Cinderella, Anna came from humble beginnings. She is one of 6 kids from a poor Texas family. She started earning a living early as a waitress and a checkout clerk at Walmart. At 15, she worked as a breakfast chef at Jim's Crispy Fried Chicken. She met Billy Smith at Jim's. They married when she was 17. The next year, she dropped out of school, had a baby, and then divorced. But Anna's dreams did not include a lifetime at the Crispy Chicken. She desperately wanted to make it as a model, but ran into brick walls.
I went to a modeling agency. They told me to darken my hair, lose weight, get down to 125. I darkened my hair, but I didn't lose the weight. And I ended up quitting the school and lightening my hair back up because I was so depressed. My last straw was the Playboy thingy.
And Playboy has paid off once again for Anna. She was crowned their 34th Playmate of the Year. Along with the honor, she gets a check for $100,000 and a Jaguar convertible.
I feel great because I'm here and I'm happy. I'm having a wonderful time with everything, and all I have to do is smile. And that's my way of getting back at everybody who was mean to me.
The one thing these days that keeps both her feet on the ground is her 7-year-old son, Daniel.
He's so excited. He's got every picture pinned up in his room. He's got my poster, calendar, everything. When his friends come over, or some of the family, he takes them straight up to his room. Says, "This is my mommy."
But does Daniel's mom think all this exposure might be too much too soon?
Absolutely not. I've been waiting for it for 25 years. I'll take all I can get.
It's chaos at Octomom's house as Nadya Suleman decides to give her 8 toddlers swimming lessons all at once. Our cameras were allowed into her dilapidated, crayon-covered walled home in Orange County, California, as the frenzied mom prepares for the lessons.
In a line. Everybody go.
First step, applying sunscreen to her 2-year-old octuplets. But not everyone wants to be lathered up. After a reassuring kiss, it's time to move on to arm floaties. And that goes even worse.
There
Octomom gives up on the inflatable armbands and heads straight to her backyard for the swimming lessons in her above-ground pool. But soon, a chorus of crying breaks out as her little ones resist taking the plunge. Finally, the 36-year-old mom drags two of her kids into the pool, but that's not the right move either. The poor swim instructor looks on, unable to start the lessons, until finally, little Malia agrees to be held in the pool.
Kick, babe, there you go. Kick.
Now the big moment. Will she put her head underwater?
1, 2, 3.
Success! It looks like she's actually starting to enjoy the lesson.
Hey, you did it. You did it. Good girl.
But how will it go for the other 7 kids? It's turbulent waters as the determined mom brings one crying child after another into the pool. Little by little, the hardworking mom manages to calm some of her kids, assuring them they are safe.
I am safe.
After a few hours, Nadya decides swimming lessons are over. And get this, she actually says the ordeal was nothing compared to the rest of her hectic schedule.
This is actually pretty easy. It's much harder, actually, because I won't have a friend over. I'll be with my 14 kids by myself. Usually on the weekends, 100%.
She says she only sleeps 3 or 4 hours a night because she's terrified about her family's safety.
I have a lot of, anxiety issues and panic because of hundreds of death threats from the first couple years and stalkers and all. You wouldn't believe what I've been through.
But what about the rundown condition of her home? Nadya admits she's too permissive with her older kids, allowing them to draw anywhere and crash their scooters into the walls.
This is not an adult house. This is a very dilapidated, torn up, hole-ridden, Picasso on the wall children's house.
But she emphasizes she loves her kids more than anything in the world. She wanted to set the record straight about that In Touch magazine interview where she was recorded saying babies disgust her.
I absolutely am disgusted by babies. They make me sick. I couldn't even imagine. I don't even look at them. I have to look the other way.
Nadya says it was all a joke.
There was this crazy thing that I said, I do not like babies. I was being dry. I was really being kind of sarcastic when I said I didn't mean it. I love children. I love all kids, all babies.
So with her love of babies, would she consider having any more?
No, thank you. Baby factory closed permanently.
It's the return of Octomom and all 8 of her famous brood of octuplets.
How old are you guys turning?
8.
Inside Edition was invited to their 8th birthday party. And as you'd expect at a birthday party for 8 kids, joyful chaos reigned.
Are you guys excited? Yeah!
Natalie Suleiman, who used to be known as Nadya, has her hands full.
Hi, guys. Wake up. I'm going to get the girls up, okay?
In addition to the octuplets, Natalie is raising 6 older children. In total, 14 kids. Yikes. Home is a small 3-bedroom townhouse outside Los Angeles.
I have embraced every day an attitude of gratitude.
At 6 a.m., everyone is up and ready to start the day. School bags and lunches are good to go. Chaotic, yes, but each child has a chore. Some help with breakfast.
How many bowls do we have there on the table, guys? Okay, good. We're good.
Others are on laundry duty.
It's kind of messy, but we're a really strong, solid family unit, unbeknownst to what many people believe.
Natalie drives her children to school and other activities in a white van.
Help? I don't get any help. I haven't had any help for many, many, many years.
Happy birthday to
Back at the party, the kids celebrate turning 8 with what else? Chocolate cake.
Last night at around 10:15, my mother passed on. She was surrounded by her friends and her family and her books and the people and the things that she loved.
For more than a generation, she has been America's unwilling icon. She became the most popular First Lady in history. Her style epitomized an era. Her courage during times of tragedy earned her the admiration of the world. Born Jacqueline Bouvier 64 years ago, she grew up in a privileged family of status in New York. In 1951, the year she graduated from George Washington University, she met a charismatic young senator at a dinner party. John F. Kennedy. But John Davis, Jackie's cousin, who wrote a book about the Kennedys, recalls that at first Jackie had her doubts.
Oh, you know, he's very charming, but he's so vain. He is always having his hair done specially and puffed up for the cameras. She said he thinks he's going to be president someday.
At just 24, Jackie married the dashing Kennedy, who was 12 years her senior.
How long did you know each other before you were married?
We knew each other about a year.
Where did you go on your honeymoon?
We went to Acapulco, Mexico.
Jackie became a political asset by John's side.
We visited 184 communities, and I think slept in nearly every city in Massachusetts.
After their first child died prematurely, Caroline was born in the winter of 1957. Soon after, they began campaigning as a family.
Pleasure to have you here, and I want you to meet my daughter Caroline and my wife Jackie.
How do you do? I'm glad you had a chance to see something of the Senate.
When he made a run for the presidency in 1960, Kennedy aides feared the public would find Jackie too pretty and too upscale. She proved them all wrong. While Jack won the votes, she won the hearts of America. JFK became the youngest elected president in history. John Jr. was born within weeks. There hadn't been toddlers running around the corridors of the White House for some time. By the time the Kennedys celebrated their first White House Christmas, glamorous Jackie was already making her mark.
She was a whole new, fresh breath of air.
Letitia Baldridge was the Miss Manners of her day and Jackie's social secretary. She says Jackie brought an air of culture and sophistication to the White House.
She brought great musicians and poets and playwrights and everybody to the White House.
In 1962, Jackie totally redecorated America's most famous residence and brought TV cameras inside for a special White House tour.
I feel so strongly that the White House should have as fine a collection of American pictures as possible. It's so important, the setting in which the presidency is presented to the world.
With her own inimitable style, Jackie became America's premier trend-setting First Lady.
There's no question that Mrs. Onassis was probably the greatest fashion icon that ever lived.
2 years ago, I said that, introduced myself in Paris by saying that I was the man who had accompanied Mrs. Kennedy to Paris. I'm getting somewhat that same sensation as I travel around Texas.
1963 was the year triumph turned to tragedy. First, Jackie's fourth child, Patrick, died 3 days after he was born. Then the profound tragedy in Dallas, the assassin's bullet that changed American history and rocked the world. Though grief-stricken, Jackie maintained her grace and dignity throughout the ordeal, earning her further admiration that would outlive her. In a surprising move, 5 years later, Jackie married again, this time to a man 28 years older, the Greek shipping tycoon Aristotle Onassis.
He felt in some ways he'd been tricked into the marriage, which was totally untrue. But in his thinking, the way he worked it out, he should never have married her. And I think Jackie felt the same way too.
When Aristotle died 7 years later, Jackie was an ocean away in New York. She was launching a career in publishing. And of all things, Jackie O became a single working mother.
It was Jackie that let women go to work. When Mrs. Onassis entered the workforce, it signaled to women it was okay to go to work.
But over the last 10 years, friends say that most of all, Jackie cherished her privacy. She liked nothing more than blending in anonymously to enjoy life's simple pleasures. Her cancer had spread. The doctors said they could do no more. On Wednesday, she came home to die here at a residence on New York City's Fifth Avenue. Her children and family rallied to her side.
It's a very difficult time for Jackie and for the family, and I think we all just wish her a great deal of love, and there was a great, very warm feeling of family and love that was in her room this morning.
If there is one thing Jackie Kennedy Onassis has taught her family, friends, and the world, it's how to deal with the loss of a loved one. But no one was prepared for her sudden death last night.
She did it in her own way and on her own terms, and we all feel lucky for that. And now she's in God's hands.
Jackie Kennedy Onassis was a paradox, the most public but very private figure the world has known. She was the closest thing to a queen that America ever had. She's left us now, but her legend will outlive us all. There will never be another Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis.